So he calls us one day, randomly, on the listener line, as Jim in Nashville. Now he's kind enough to come in studio. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, Ron Slay. We are merely us. He is legendary broadcaster and now Nashvilleian. Jim Nantz is here. Jim, thank you for being here. We're honored. How are you?
My gosh, can I just say hello, friends, to start? It's a thrill. Thank you for that intro. I was like watching or listening to your life go by a little bit. But big fan. I love what you guys do. You're the talk of the town. There's so many people that adore each and every one of you, and all your bits and all your takes. And anyway, I'm just growing into this role as being a Nashvilleian. I actually moved here 3 years ago today.
Wow!
So this is my anniversary, my Nashville anniversary day, and it's been such a blessing in my life. I just absolutely love it here.
So why Nashville? Why did you choose Nashville?
I lived in Pebble Beach, California, full-time for 11 years. The grind of working at that time, 48 weeks a year.
Wow.
And traveling in and out of a regional airport there, Monterey, sweet little airport, no nonstops. Yet I have to go up to San Francisco, it's 110 miles away to fly. Anything that had potential nonstop access. I just was on a plane the whole time, and it was wearing me out. I could tell that my career longevity was being put into question the more I stayed there. And I know a lot of people think, oh, yeah, come on, just tell the truth. You left because of the taxes. I really, when I sat down and looked at where did I want to move, I didn't even know the income tax rate in Tennessee. I knew the people, and I had been here through the years to call a whole assortment of things. Mm-hmm. Whether it was, and I looked it up, I did 9 games since the Titans came to Tennessee at Nissan. 9. That's been a while. I haven't had a home game since I moved here. Hopefully that'll change. But I had 9 of those. I had NCAA first and second round sites here, an NCAA regional site here. I had friends here like the Snedeker family, Brant and Mandy and their beautiful family. People. I've been at Knoxville for games back in the days when I called college football back in the 90s. I had the Danny Thomas FedEx St. Jude Classic going back to the mid-'80s. I know that's the other end of the state, 180 miles away, but just Tennessee, man, I just liked it. I'm from North Carolina, from Charlotte. I want to be back in these parts. And a lot of my family in Charlotte saying, well, why didn't you just come on back to Charlotte? It wasn't going to fit the proximity need that I had. I needed something that was central. Yeah. I needed something I could get in and out and go a day later, get home maybe a night earlier. And I wanted to go somewhere where I felt a warm embrace. And that checked all the boxes right here for Nashville.
It sounds like you know exactly how far everything is.
You know, as many years I've been on the road, it's so true. I know exactly how long it's going to take you to go from here to Green Bay or here to Minnesota for a Vikings game. I know restaurants in all these cities. It's a nomadic life, but it's a life I chose. And when I get home, it feels good. It feels good to be here. I love it. And I know there's so many people out there listening that didn't know maybe I'm from Nashville now, and I'm proud to say it. But I just want to thank everybody for the way that the kindness that's been extended. It's been very meaningful to me.
Have you been given the opportunity to visit with some of the Music City folks?
Well,
in terms of music, industry?
All of them. It feels like all of them.
They're all such sports fans.
Big time.
You know?
So I have a friend here. He's probably my closest buddy. His name's Ben Weprin. And he has an office kind of in this area, HA Capital. He founded the company. Graduate Hotel, Thompson Hotel, hotels all over the world. Anyway,
awesome hotels.
Great rooftop up there.
You know them, right?
Rooftop,
They also have the Rusax Hotel in St. Andrew. Good rooftop there.
Great,
big time.
Great rooftop.
Anyway, he's a young guy, and I've been an investor in his company, and I adored the Weprin family. Yeah. So Ben knew when I was going to make the move here. He's close to a lot of the people in the music community. And do you know, within a week of me moving here, I got a random text from Eric Church saying, hey, I heard
this is random.
I heard you've moved to Nashville, and I know you might be in need of some friends. It's true. I would love to have you over to the house for dinner.
He's a Carolina guy.
He's App State, and Morgantown, which is on the western side of North Carolina, is his hometown. Hickory, his dad's up that way, Ken. So you can tell I've really gotten to know him well. So within 3 weeks of moving here, I was having dinner at Eric's house. And it hasn't stopped there. I don't want to name drop, but I know so many people from the music world here. They're my friends. They're very deep personal relationships. And whether it be Eric or my neighbor Charles Kelly from Lady Annabelle, he was the first to ever make a hole in one of my new backyard hole here in Nashville the other day.
He played golf in college.
He's big time. And raised in Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Morgan Wallen, Morgan and Eric and Ben came out and stayed with me in Pebble Beach and played golf.
Wow.
I mean, it's been amazing. I cannot believe how normal. I'm not talking about just the musicians. Everybody. It's normal around here. There's sanity here in this part of the world, and it means a lot to me.
Jim Nantz with us on 3HL.
Except for the three you're sitting with right now.
Some exceptions.
So outside of this current moment, have you ever been starstruck by meeting people?
This would have to be it. This would be right at the top.
I knew it. I saw it in your eye. I saw it in your eye, baby.
I actually, I brought into the studio here the Molteni family. Okay,
Yeah.
So they've been incredibly kind to me since I started exploring moving here. And Tommy, I don't think he misses a minute of the show. So he is so stoked right now to be sitting in this studio. They drove me down here, and I'm actually got a little bit of nerves right now being with the three of you guys.
It's that guy, right?
You should.
That guy.
Slay? Yeah.
You know about the boom
legend.
boom room,
You should.
right?
I know the Boom Boom Room. I think I might be going there. I'm ready for it.
You don't need no Uber or nothing. You just gonna get there.
What I was thinking about was the story I read about you ending up having dinner with Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I was a bit starstruck there.
were you worried about how to be proper
Oh,
with
are
her?
you kidding? So I got this invitation from the White House to attend a state dinner honoring Her Majesty. And, of course, at first you think it's a prank. Anyway, it is real. And I happened to drop that little piece of information on a lot of people for the month lead up to going to D.C., and everybody had an opinion on how I'm supposed to greet the Queen. Should I ever have the chance to be in her sphere? Well, when you go to a state dinner at the White House, it's 135 people. That's it. That's the max. If you're ever going to have, Dawn, the next time you host a dinner party in the state dining room, it's 135. That's it. You can't get 136 in the room. So I knew that was a pretty special invitation.
Yeah.
You started out in the East Room with a cocktail party, and each one of the guests were called in for a photo op. I didn't know this was going to happen, through a receiving line.
Oh, my goodness.
It got so late in the game, I was like, there were 2 or 3 of us still left. And a Marine had not called my name yet. And I thought, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. Finally, he called my name. Marine led me in. The first person there in the receiving line is the Queen. It's the Queen, and with President George W. Bush, Mrs. Bush, and Prince Philip lined up. And basically was supposed to, walk down the line, shake their hand, high five, knock knuckles, whatever you're going to do.
That's what I was going to say. You
bow, curtsy. I didn't know. And then you go to the far end, you take a picture. So there she is. Here's that moment of truth. She had gloves on that went up above the elbow. And she reached out with her hand like this. Like a paw, like you just grab it, which I did. Not a handshake. Like this. Yeah, that's all I did.
Can you imagine me and Slay trying to deal with this situation? Don't handle it.
I didn't know exactly what to do. I was definitely a starstruck. And
Is
then
it to kiss it? I mean, are you?
I didn't. I thought about it for a minute. I could have, but there was a glove on there. I don't want to kiss the glove.
Yeah.
So we had a great conversation. I said, "It's such an honor to meet you." And she said, "Thank you." That was it.
That was your conversation.
Move on to the next.
But then you go to the far end after I shake the president, first lady, and Prince's hand, and I'm standing next to Prince Philip. The day before, I had called a Tiger Woods win on a golf tournament. And he said, "I saw your broadcast yesterday with Tiger. And as you know, we get your feed over in the UK. To this day, the CBS golf broadcast are shown live in the UK.
Wow.
In prime time, because we're on at 2 here, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Over there, it's 8 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're on in prime time. Golf's a big thing over in the UK. So there's a great familiarity anytime I'm in London. I mean, I get stopped more in London than I do in Nashville.
Yeah,
it's true.
funny.
Golf is a big deal.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Prince turns to me and he says, "I've always wanted to ask you." And I'm shocked. The guy is familiar with my work.
Prince Philip.
His Prince Philip. He says, "Do you play golf as well as you speak about it?" So, dumbfounded, I go through this long, drawn-out answer about how I used to be a player as a kid, went to college, masqueraded as a golfer. And I mean, I know the story's getting long. I'm trying to figure out how to put a period on it. And finally, he stops me in my tracks and says, "I get the picture. They're waiting to take our photo." He just cut me off at the knees. In other words, that was enough.
Cool.
And I turned around and preened for the camera, took the picture, and made the exit. Now, there's a Marine with a silver tray, and there's a little place card on top. And that's your table assignment. I opened it up. It was table 11. Full disclosure, I had been at a state dinner once before. I knew, like, I try to observe everything and tell people what I see. That's what we are. We're paid observers. Yeah. I knew the layout of the room from the previous time.
Yeah.
And I had sat at table 12 the last time I'd been there. And then that occasion, I sat with the first lady. Wow. Yeah. So now I'm at table 11. There's 13 tables in the room. And I thought, this could be a pretty good seat. I walk over to the table. I've got Ashley Manning to my left, Peyton's wife.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Arnold Palmer next to Ashley. Now, Arnold Palmer was a central figure in my life.
Yeah.
Very close. I did his eulogy at his funeral. I love the king. And then you had the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts.
That's a hell of a table.
This is a good name-dropping story here. Let's not kid ourselves here. Open seat, Nancy Reagan.
Hello.
Former Secretary of State, George Shultz. And Alma Powell, Colin Powell's wife. Wow. God rest her soul. She just passed away in the last couple of days. Colin Powell passed a couple of years ago. Mrs. Powell just passed away in the last 2 days. And then me. So I get situated. I'm so happy. I know Ashley and Arnie's mentor and friend. All of a sudden, there's a bugler. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the First Lady of the United States, escorted by Prince Philip. And everybody gives the golf applause. Totally unaffected as they weave through the room and they walk to table 12. There's 2 open seats at my table, as I said. And oh my God, I am sitting with the Queen. Yeah. I'm not only in the room, I'm sitting at the table. And here's the bugle plays. Little preamble. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Queen of England and the President of the United States. I mean, it was like a par clap, 2-putt par. And I'm like, I'm weaving through the room. He goes by, everybody's, shaking their head. It's a big moment. And he walks right past me. He nudges me with his elbow right into my ribs. He says, "Nance, you're sitting at this table for a reason. Keep the conversation going."
I was going to say, somebody's supposed to be the icebreaker at this table.
That was me. They sat down, and the Queen sat right across from me. I mean, shoulder to shoulder. If you YouTubed it and you looked up pictures or videos from that night, you will see pictures of her and the president making toast, and you'll see the table, and you'll see the back of my head, and I'm looking up at the Queen. I'm not embellishing this a bit. I'm looking right across at the tiara, the sash. This is right out of Central Casting, but it's actually for real. And I had a role tonight to serve my country and keep the conversation going, and I tried my best.
How did you do?
I failed.
Bring your best stuff.
I failed. Hey, I got the stink eye from the president after about 5 minutes. Like, I hadn't said anything, and he goes like. So I said, Her Majesty, I read where you were at the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. This was a Monday night, May 7th, 2007. I said, "How was the Derby?" She said, "Lovely." That was it. Trying to engage. It had like a whole series of like 10 questions like this. on and on. Did you have the winning horse? No. And I couldn't get anywhere. And I'm like looking over at the prez like, hey, man, I'm trying over here. So finally, I think he realizes she don't know, has no idea who this guy is. Her husband does, but she has no clue. And he's sitting at 12. We're at 11.
He's not even with her.
So he says, this guy over here, he's a great friend of the family. He's very close to my dad, which one of the great honors of my life was being really close to George H.W. and riding on his coattails. This was not about politics. This was about a kid from Houston who made it to the network, and Houston was their home, and he was a sports guy, and he was proud and supportive. My dad's life was sinking into the abyss with Alzheimer's, and he knew I needed, a guide and a friend, and he became that in that role. Anyway, he said, that guy's a friend of the family. He just did something in the United States of America never been done before. He just did the Super Bowl. She was eating her salad at this point. She put her fork down and directed all of her attention right to me. She was looking at me with her beady eyes. And I'm not saying, we just got a stare down. The president's over here talking. Then he did the championship of basketball. She had no idea what that was. He could have called it the Final Four. I still don't think she would have known.
Yeah.
And then he did the Augusta.
The Augusta.
They didn't call it the Masters.
Yeah, the Augusta.
And she was like, okay. She had the look like, are you done?
What does all this mean?
And I'd done those 3 events in 63 days.
Yeah.
It was insane. I did that now multiple times, 7 times from that point forward. And the trifecta. And he just finished. And she looked at me. I looked at her, and I thought, this could go a lot of places. She could follow up a question. She could reach over to that butter knife that's sitting by her side and reach across the table and knife me here on the spot. I'd be okay with that.
Wouldn't that be something?
But you know what she did? So I saw her reach down and thought, she's going to do it. She found her salad fork and went right back to eating it. Never looked at me again.
He's Jim Nantz in studio with 3HL. Have you heard about the Boom Boom Room?
Oh, are you kidding me?
That might happen.
I'm going in.
That's happening next.
And I want to come out alive.
That's happening next. 3HL, stay tuned. More with Jim Nantz next on 104.5 The Zone.